TikTok's not gonna be a jerk today. Last night my connectivity issues were so bad. Good morning, guys. What?
So mine were too, and I was just watching TikTok.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Happy Friday, guys. Hi, Laura. Welcome in. Happy Friday. How is everybody this morning? Hello, Linda, Vicky, 5K Chuck, Joy RN, Carlos, Zachary Thomas, Sergeant Buddha. How is everyone? We are talking You Are a Badass this morning and taking questions as far as manifestation. Jessica, I am not doing free yes no's this morning. That's in my evening streams. I will be on tonight though. Waking up, Lily has the flu. Aw, I'm sorry. I hope she feels better. It's never fun when the littles are sick. My daughter's home today too, but it's a mental health day for her. So she works her butt off, and she'll not be able to miss any school here soon for basketball and stuff. So she's taking a mental health day. They're deserving. How's everybody? Welcome in, welcome in. If you've been following me at all this past week, we have been talking about You Are a Badass, and we've been doing we started a grateful/thankful challenge for the month of November. We are trying to switch out of that negative mindset and into that blessed mindset. And so I'm coming on here every morning and going through at least a chapter of the book. I'll read parts of it. We'll discuss it. If you guys have questions. Today is all about what she calls the big snooze, which is, to me, what is the interpretation of the spiritual community saying waking up, having an awakening. April, I do not do yes no's in the morning. That is on my evening streams. I will be on later tonight. Also, tomorrow's Saturday, right? Yeah. Tomorrow at 7, my sister-in-law and I, Jenna, small, medium, at large on TikTok, we will be doing mediumship readings. Oh, no, you're fine, honey. It's fine. I know not everybody knows that, so it's all good. No worries. So that's one thing. Also, if you guys are looking for private readings, I do schedule private readings. I also offer private coaching. So manifesting coaching, mindset coaching, all of that. That is available as well. You can message me and we can schedule something. I'm here to help get you guys where you want to be. A lot of us are stuck in the negativity, and we're stuck in, the victim mentality. It's time to get out of that and take your power back. So these yes no's that we get, I teach you how to get towards your true desire, whatever that may be, and we get down to it. A lot of people ask these questions and it's not truly what they want. It's more of something that's in the way of getting what they want. So I teach you how to really ask yourself the right questions and how to move towards what it is that you want to really manifest those true desires. So what does everybody have planned for this weekend? Anybody have any good plans? Mine is probably going to be filled with cleaning. As fun as that sounds. But one thing I have learned, especially in this spiritual journey, you cannot live in a cluttered environment and expect to have what you want. You just can't. All the clutter clutters your mind. It clutters your mental space, obviously. And if you're completely surrounded by things that you really don't cherish and it's just taking up space, the universe isn't going to give you what you want if you still have all of this stuff that you're not using, that you're allowing to take up space in your environment. So you should, it's always a good thing to kind of go through your stuff and purge it, clear space, get organized. Now, is that necessary? Absolutely necessary? No, you can still manifest, but sorry, my cat's going crazy again. Um, but it definitely helps. It helps clear your mind. It clears your energy. It clears space to welcome in things. So it's always important to do something to keep your space clear. Keep it blessed. Rory, what are you doing? My cat's crazy. She's crazy. Do not. Don't. Oh, I thought she was going to jump on my ring light again. Alright, so I'm going to get started on chapter 4 of The Big Snooze of You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Again, the reason why I really enjoy this book and this author is the way she writes. Good morning, Heather. How are you? And because to me, while I read this book, I feel like I'm talking to my friend. She speaks the way I speak. And it's very comfortable. She's very open. There's, it's like talking with an old friend. So, I'm going to start reading. And if you guys have questions or if you want to put in input, please do. Again, she calls this one The Big Snooze, and it says, wanting to be someone else is a waste of the person you are. And that was from Kurt Cobain from Nirvana. Which that in and of itself, how many times have we truly tried to be something that we're not? How many times have we thought, oh, well, if I could do this just like so-and-so, I'll be better, right? You guys will hear me say this a lot on all of my streams. Don't try, obviously we want to be better, but different is better than better, okay? We want to try things differently, right? We want to do things differently. Being different and doing things differently each and every day is going to keep you in the moment. We talked about this yesterday. It's important to be present. So if you go on autopilot, right, you're used to your routine. You get up, you get dressed, you have your coffee, you walk out the door, you drive to work the same route every single day, you get to work, you do the same tasks, right? Might switch up a little bit, but you do the same thing over and over and over. You go eat lunch, you go back to work, you come home, you make dinner, blah, 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 rinse and repeat. Try something different. Take a different route to work, right? Because it's going to keep your brain and your mind and your focus in the moment. How many times have you driven to work or driven to school or driven to a doctor's appointment or whatever, and you're like, I don't even know how I got here. Like, I'm here already. You get lost because you're on autopilot. It's good to kind of have a little variety, right? So do things differently. Good morning, Indigo. How are you? All right. So, again, make sure that you're looking at different things differently. How can you do them differently? Hello, Weedmayer. How are you? Welcome in. All right. So she said, when I first started getting into self-helpery, I like that word, There was lots of talk about something called the ego. I'm well. I'm good. You're great, Indigo? Yes, it's Friday. How can you not be great on a Friday, right? Alright, so that confused the hell out of me. I always thought that ego was about being conceited and braggy and all. I'm going to talk on and on and on about how great I am, and then I'm going to show you my muscles. Meanwhile, even though arrogance and conceit, which are different from self-love and confidence, by the way, are part of the ego, they're not, as I later learned, the whole dealio. Good morning, Beers. How are you? How's it going? So, I agree. Like, when I was in high school and in college, when we talked about the ego, when we first talked about it, that's exactly what I thought. People who were conceited and, egotistical, right? Now it's different. I understand it a little differently. It's not all that. Ego is working in the head all the time, right? Talking about fears and reacting out of fear. My cats are crazy this morning. All right, so it says in the self-help spiritual community, ego is used to refer to the shadow self, or the false self, or the self that's acting like a weenie. It's the part of us that's driving the bus when we do things like sabotage our happiness by cheating on our husbands or wives because deep down we don't feel worthy of being loved, or that refuses to follow our hearts and pursue an acting career because we're terrified to be seen for who we really are, or that goes on and on and on and on about how great we are and shows our muscles because we're insecure and need lots of outside validation that we're good enough. Right? I mean, think about that. Those who really do sit there and say, oh, I did this and I did that, like, there's a difference between conceit and confidence, right? And when I'm going to pick on the male gender for a moment, just because it comes to me easily. I don't mean that like that. But think about it. A high school quarterback, high school basketball player, high school baseball player, right? They're really good in high school. They didn't go to college, or maybe they did, and they didn't make it to the big leagues, right? But you hear the stories over and over and over again, right? When I was in high school, like remember that game where I threw the winning touchdown? You hear it over and over and over and over again because they're so insecure and they're stuck. They're stuck and they don't see their worth now because they were so admired back then that they're not seeing how admired they are right now because to them it just isn't as as good. Good morning, Geneva. How are you, baby? So they're looking for validation, and that's where the validation that they received from before made them feel good. So they keep accessing it. Or someone who knows everything no matter what it is. It's all about validation. Yes. Yes. We can't all know everything, right? We can't. And if you try to pretend like you do, it you know what I mean? Like we're always learning, we're always growing. Not everybody knows everything. Even Einstein didn't know everything, and he's supposedly one of the smartest people on the planet. Same with it's eluding me, see? Some think so. Yes, some think they do. But you can't. You can't know. And yeah, the people who want to believe that they know everything or portray that they do. Tesla. Yeah, Nicholas Tesla. Yeah. I mean, it just, you can't know everything. You can't. And it does come off as very, I don't know. Like, it does come off very fake. I'd rather have a very genuine conversation with somebody who's not afraid to be like, you know what? I don't even know much about that. Can you tell me a little bit more? Good morning, Maddie. Um, I respect that. Like, or if someone says, you know what? I have no clue, but let me find out. It did not work. If you were wondering, your sleep meditation, we have to be consistent, honey. It doesn't always work the first time. I have a friend that thinks she knows everything, drives me nuts, right? Right? Hey, Tiff, I see you. Um, yeah, it is. It drives it. I don't know. I'm the same way. We were just talking. Actually, we just started. We're talking about the ego right now and how some people get so stuck in. We were talking about how it's not when we talk about ego, we're not always talking about the person who's just like, I'm so great and flexing their muscles, right? That's kind of like what I had thought when I used to hear about people being egotistical, right? And but we're also talking about how when people operate from the ego, a lot of it is through fear and insecurity, right? Instead of the trust and the faith in oneself. So she means well. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But some people, it's just because they're insecure and they don't want to come off seeming as if they don't know. Like, to them, that's scarier than being called out, I think. I don't know. I have no clue. See? I have no clue. uh, I never thought of her like that. When people want to be validated, because let's be honest, when people are like, oh yeah, I know this answer, I know it, like I know all about that, like they want to hear, oh, that's wonderful, or hey, that's great. There's sometimes they're seeking validation because they do not feel good about themselves. There's a difference between I know everything and I don't know, but hey, I can help you figure it out. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Like, I'd rather have the person who's just like, you know what, I really don't know, but let's check it out, right? Let's check it out together instead of having someone say, oh, I know that, like, this is what you got to do. Meanwhile, they're way off base, right? But they make it sound good. They can come off confident and they can come off like they truly do know, but really they don't. She came from a big family, and I think she was the youngest, and her big sisters were always mean. Makes sense. That makes sense. And I mean, in that situation too, like we can feel, you know, not seen, right? So now it's like she has to be right, but she is my best friend. I'm not talking trash on her. No. No. It's also an understanding of others too. I mean, that's the other thing. It's not for us to judge or to put them down. It's to understand, right? For our own selves. You know what I mean? Like, when we have people like that in our lives, it's not because, we need to completely close them out, but we just have to be like, okay, they're just seeking a little validation. They're not confident. And maybe that's something with us to help them become more confident so they don't have to be like that. We don't have to call them out. We don't have to call them out and say, oh, you're so stuck in your ego and we don't have to do that, right? But we can always say things like, hey, you know what? I know you know so much, but you don't have to know everything and be an expert on it, right? I value your opinion. I value the information that you give me, but you don't always have to know everything. It's okay. It's okay not to know. She can move my house around, and when she leaves, I put it back where I like it. Oh, good morning, Patty Cakes. How are you? It's letting them know by our actions that we love them and we see them and they are worthy. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, we we all kind of have that person in our life or persons, people, that want to come off as if they know it all and that, they're confident, right? I don't want to ever knock anybody's confidence down. So if and when it arises that they weren't correct, I'm not like, oh, you were wrong. I'm like, oh, okay, we learned something. I could be better, waiting to see if the dentist will pull this tooth for me today as a walk-in. My face is so swollen. Oof. I am so sorry. Hopefully they'll be able to. I know I've had experience with that, and I was then put on an antibiotic first, but sometimes they will pull it, and get you on a strong antibiotic, so that way the infection doesn't spread if that's what it is. But I am sending you so much love, and we are manifesting that you are out of pain and into some relief. I love it. I love this community. All right. Alrighty, let's see. Where was I? Okay. In other words, there's more one way to go on an ego trip. From here on out, I'm going to refer to the ego as the big snooze. Aw, I love you guys. Or BS for short. I think it'll be less confusing. Plus, I think it's more appropriate since the leading cause of sucking, staying broke, dating morons, uncontrollably crying in public because we hate our lives is that we haven't yet woken up to how truly powerful we are, or how massively abundant our universe is. Wow, it's Friday, man. The sky is so pretty this morning. It's peak. Never seen that before. Ooh. Are you? Where are you at again, Maddie? Red sky in the morning. Sailor take warning. So you might be getting some storms or something later. So be aware. Sorry, that just goes through my head every time. You're Missouri. Yeah. So no. Red sky at night, sailor's delight, and then red sky in the morning, sailor take warning. So when we get it in the winter, I'm like, shit, we're gonna get hit. I'm always worried. I'm not always worried, but All right. So moving on. The big snooze operates according to your limiting false beliefs. This is the garbage that was stuffed into your subconscious as a kid that doesn't ring true for you, as well as the decisions you've made about yourself that are less than flattering or empowering. It gets validation from outside sources. I'm doing this to win your love. Your opinion of me is more important than my opinion of me. It's reactive. My circumstances control my life. I am a victim, fear-based, and extremely committed to keeping you safely confined within the reality you've created based on the limiting false beliefs, otherwise known as your comfort zone. The big snooze lives in the past and in the future and believes you are separate from everything around you. No, I checked. It's clear today. So weird. We'll see. I don't know. That's just what I've heard, and that's what sticks with me. So we'll see. But that's exactly what it is. People who, and even us too. There are moments in our life where we get pulled back into those false limiting beliefs, right? We get sucked in, because it's comfortable, right? We know spiritually, we know consciously that we need to break these cycles or we need to take a risk, right? But there is that ego that's like, oh no, but we're safe right here. Like, we don't want to go past this comfort zone. We don't want to stretch, right? We don't want to take this leap because what if we fall, right? What if we fail? So this, that's it's there to help us too. Don't get me wrong. Our ego is there to protect us. It operates the flight, fight, and freeze mode. Okay, it is important. It keeps us from going into dangerous situations. However, it also keeps us stuck if we let it drive our life. Right? We have to be aware of that. Your true self or your higher self or your superhero self, your non-BS self, on the other hand, is the part of you that operates according to your connection to source energy. It gets validation from within. I love and trust myself. This feels right to me. I have a purpose. I'm loved. It's proactive. I'm in control of my life. I think I'll head out and kick me some ass. Love-based, and it is committed to creating a reality based on your limitless potential. As soon as you wake up from the big snooze, your true self lives in the present, not stuck in your head, totally believes in miracles, and is one with the universe. We all experience life in varying degrees from both perspectives, and while I seriously doubt there's anyone who's totally snooze free, most people are so wrapped up in the BS that they're settling for realities that are way beneath what's available to them. How many times have we seen people who have such potential, right? But they're stuck. And they'll give you every excuse on why they can't get ahead, right? They'll throw every excuse at you. But you see their potential, right? It's always like, no, it just never works out for me. Or I take a step forward and I get thrown 10 steps back. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Because you're trying to kill that old self. You're trying to kill those old habits. That old self doesn't want to die. So it's going to come and it's going to create this chaos to self-sabotage you. So you stay stuck instead of pushing forward. Right? So you'll see these people who, if they just applied themselves, right? They could soar so freaking high. But they'll give you every excuse why they won't even try. And I've done it. I've done it myself. There's been so many times where I know I could have done something. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. That seems like a lot of work. And what if it doesn't pay off? Then I've wasted so much time. And where am I? I'm back to where I was. But what if it succeeded? What if it would have succeeded? Yes, I would have put in a lot of time, but I would have been further ahead than where I was. Good morning, April. How are you, baby? How's your day? So we see this. We've done this. We've experienced it, right? But now that we're becoming more aware of ourselves, our true selves, our highest selves, we're seeing and breaking these habits, these false beliefs. Just working. I'm good. It's Friday, so that's always good. My daughter is home today, but she's just taking a mental health day. I've been on a sneezing fit this morning, but hopefully I'm past that. We're just talking about when people kind of start waking up and being able to see where people are still kind of stuck. By the way, I love when you say, but what if, right? Right? And it's funny too, because, we do say in this room too, like, what if? Fear is what if. Faith is even if, right? Even if I fail, I still learn something. But I do like that. But what if we would have succeeded? What if you succeed? Even if you fail, you still learn. You still grow. You might find a different path and find something more. Something different that you're supposed to do instead. But if you just stay stuck, you ain't moving. Things aren't going to get better. You will be a victim to the circumstances around you instead of creating opportunities for yourself, right? Creating the life you truly do desire. We all experience life. Oh, I already did that, didn't I? Alright, very few people are even aware of what's available. However, because we live in a fear-based society that loves to get all uppity towards people who wake up from the big snooze, blast out of their comfort zones, and follow their hearts into the great unknown, there's unfortunately a lot of people who are stuck, yes. Oftentimes, taking leaps of faith is labeled as irresponsible, or selfish, or insane. Until you succeed, of course, then you're brilliant. This is because watching someone else totally go for it can be incredibly upsetting to the person who spent a lifetime building a solid case for why they themselves can't. Think about that. The jealousy that people put out towards you when you really start to achieve something, right? Oh, you just got lucky. You got lucky. Or they'll sit there and they'll tell you, don't do that. You really shouldn't buy that house. Like, how are you going to afford that mortgage? That's a big mortgage. What if you lose your job? Or if you try to build your business, right? You want to start building your own business. You mean you're going to give up your comfy 9 to 5? You're going to take a leap and you're really going to risk it all. You're in for a rude awakening, right? How many times have we been surrounded by people like that? It's because they themselves did not have the cojones to believe in themselves. You have to be careful on who you're surrounding yourself with. You have to be careful with who you're telling your hopes and dreams to. Because people are out here crushing people's dreams because they are stuck in fear. They're playing it safe. I get it. I like to feel safe. I like to feel secure. But at the same time, what does that get me if I'm keeping myself stuck and contained when I need to be doing more? When I feel the need to do more, not that I need to. I feel the need to do more. Work in silence. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you are I think we go into this in this chapter actually, but if you can surround yourself with like-minded people, right, who are going for it, you can speak with that. But the people who want to just stop you from progressing forward, that's where you have to draw the line on how much you're sharing with them. People don't know how to clap for others. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. People don't know how to be happy for other people. Because I don't even know why this is. But, well, she just tells us, because they've given themselves every reason why they can't. Instead of going for it. They didn't even try. They've just given themselves excuse after excuse after excuse why they can't do it. So why should you? But when you wake up and you start seeing people, because that's the life you want to live, you want to see yourself have exciting, moments to succeed. So when you see somebody else actually do it, you are genuinely happy for them because you're like, see, if they can do it, I can do it, right? It gives you that boost to keep moving forward. She goes on to say, I'm obviously generalizing, and there are plenty of people out there cheering us on. But one of the first things you might have to deal with when you decide to wake up from the big snooze and make massive positive changes in your life is disapproval from other people who are snoring away. Aw, thanks, April. I love you. Especially the people closest to you, lame as this may sound. They may express their discomfort in all sorts of ways: anger, hurt, bafflement, criticism, snorting every time you talk about your new business or your new friends, constant remarks about how you're not the way you used to be, brow furrowing, worrying, teasing, blocking you from all social media outlets, etc. I've experienced this on so many levels for the past almost 5 years. I've experienced everything. I still experience it. I get told that I'm ridiculous, or like I get the yeah, okay. Okay. Like a lot of the times I don't talk about what I'm doing. I don't talk about everything that I'm planning. I don't talk about it because I'm not cheered on as I like to cheer others on. I mean, yes, I have my support system, but there are certain people I don't share that with because they'd rather say, that's crazy. Why would you do something like that? I get told I can't afford it. Don't listen to those people. I have learned that the hard way for sure. Good morning, Amanda. My family blocked and removed me. I was like, okay, bye. Yes. Yes. And you see that on TikTok too. I don't know. I'm sure you have at least. Like, they're like the black sheep of the family, and how's your spiritual journey going? Or, and it's true. It's true because you make them uncomfortable because you've stepped outside of your comfort zone and you're actually doing something and you're seeing progress, but they want to shoot it down because no, you have to stay here with us. Yeah, absolutely, Maddie. There is so much negativity out there. Laura's like, yeah, me too. No, you don't. You don't. You don't need the negativity because it keeps you from moving forward. Because let's be honest, when you surround yourself with so much negativity, whether you mean to or not, it really does pull you back. It doesn't mean you stay stuck there, but it pulls you back, and your energy is weighed down. You feel like, why am I doing this? Maybe they're right. You start questioning yourself. That's normal too, right? So it is important to notice who you're surrounding yourself with. How are they talking, right? Are they always in the negative? Are they always gossiping, right? I've taken myself away from a lot of stuff like that. Even recently, I'm very careful on what I will engage with too, because as open as I want to be with people and as open as I want to help people, right? There are people who still play the victim, and I play the victim, right? But I need to, like, that's one of the things for me. I need to be more aware. And when I'm aware of it, I don't want to play into it. I don't want to pull them. I don't want to allow them to keep spiraling. It drains your energy. It does. Yeah, exactly. It it's difficult because as a friend and as a mentor, I want others to feel able to come to me with issues. But at the same time, if you're coming to me as a mentor, right, as your mentor, I don't want to keep going down that road, right? I don't want to keep letting you spiral. So a lot of the times I come back with, okay, I understand. I know this sucks right now. What is the desire? What is it that you want? Let's not keep going down this road, right? And sometimes that comes off harshly to some. And I know this because I was that person when I would go to my mentor and I would say, oh, this is happening, blah, 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 blah. And he would come back with, what's your desire? What is it that you want? But no. What do you want? Stop reactivating all this. What is it that you want? How do you get there? Who are you? That's why I'm always like that now. Because the more you play into the negatives, right? Oh, this sucked. Like, blah, 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 blah. It makes me feel this way. You're validating what you don't want and you're creating more of it. Let's stop. So, and some people still, even though they've been working with me for a while, I can feel their energy in which they feel, or maybe this is my fear projecting on them. They feel almost not heard. I hear you. I hear you. But I'm not the one you have to process that. My job is to get you out of that and shifting you away from that. We don't want to stay stuck in that state of negativity. We want to move out of it and then process it. So that way we're not recreating it and reliving it. I started replacing the negative thoughts and words immediately. They pop into my mind. It helps. It does. It does. Absolutely. It does help. But sometimes too, and that's you're moving out of that negative state and into a more positive state or a different state so you can then look at it outside. Because I feel like when we're stuck in it, we're having a bad day, our partner, ex-partner is driving us crazy. They're treating us badly. They're saying all the, still in that state when we're like, it feels like crap. Like, I feel like crap. I feel like they might be right. They're always mean to me. They always put me down. We're in that victim state, right? But if we shift into that very confident woman, right? Whatever we want to look at, whatever, we're looking at, confident woman in a loving relationship. If we can shift there, we can see, okay, I was triggered. I was triggered because they said this, right? And that made me feel less than. But I know I'm more than. So yeah, you are already shifting when you're moving those negatives into the positive. Okay? But we have to, one thing I always stress is what triggered you. So that way you can get into really the nitty gritty. Because I was just changing like my perspective. Like I was just changing, no, I'm good enough, right? I would affirm to myself. But then I would get triggered again just like that. I'm like, I already did this. What's going on? And then I was noticing that when certain things were said, it was triggering me to feel not good enough. And I had to address the trigger, right? Because whether it was my husband or if it was my father, it was something to do with men judging me and not looking at me and taking me seriously. Okay, because I was the baby of the family, pretty much raised as the only girl. I do have an older sister. I never grew up with her. But so I always felt as if I was not taken seriously. And that was my issue. That wasn't them. That was my issue that I had to process and go through. So, but yeah, that is you absolutely being in another state of mind and being in that confident state or whatever state that you're looking at yourself from, and you're looking at that negative victim state and being able to be like, no, nope, you know better. I know better. I am confident. I am secure. So I like that. That's a good example of when I say shifting states or moving into a different state. That's exactly what I mean, is being able to look at why you did that, and replacing that. Okay. We got 8:45. All right. Shirley, are you really going to quit your secure corporate job to open up a nail salon when you've got 2 children, a mortgage, and high blood pressure? So few new businesses succeed, especially in this economy. Aren't you worried about what will happen to your family if you fail? See? These are the conversations. How many times have we heard something like this from our loved ones, our family members, right? Of course Shirley is worried about what will happen to her family if she fails. She wakes up every night seized by panic about it, but she's moving past her fear to create something she's really psyched about, rather than dying a slow, painful death hanging around the water cooler with you, whining about how dry the cake was at the birthday party your boss threw for you in the conference room last week. right? Of course she's worried. Of course there's fear that's there, but we have to move past it. We're moving with we're taking that fear as that momentum. Even though they're often doing it out of love and concern, having others smear their fear and worry all over you is the last thing you need when you're strengthening your superhero muscles to step out and take some rest. So I highly recommend keeping your mouth shut around people who are going to bring you down. Instead, seek out those who are already totally kicking butt or who are lifting up their foot to do so. Thanks, Andre. Yeah, my yes nos are in the evening stream. Or people you know will be supportive and confide in them, because you'll have your own internal freak show to deal with as you try to overcome the objections from your own BS. Right? We all do it. We do it ourselves. We don't need other people, fueling our fear fire. We need people to say, okay, I know this is scary, but what's your goal? What's your desire? Where are we going? Like, where are you trying to go? Stop worrying about, what ifs. Even if you're still going there, right? Fear is what if, faith is even if. Okay, even if your biggest fear happens, doesn't mean you can't still achieve what it is that you want. Okay? We need those people in our corner. We don't need the people throwing more fear at us. So be aware of those people that you're surrounding yourself with in that accord. The big snooze is like an overprotective Italian mother who not only doesn't want you to ever go outside, but who wants you to live with her forever. Her intentions are good, but fully fear-based. As long as you stay inside the familiar, risk-free zone of your present reality, the big snooze is content. But should you try and sneak past her to attend that rocking party outside, your overprotective, controlling mother is going to claw, scratch, scream, bite, hurl her body in front of your rapidly approaching new life. Basically, she's going to do whatever she can to stop you, and it ain't going to be pretty. It's like when you quit smoking or doing drugs and go into withdrawal. Finally, you've taken a leap and done something that's going to massively improve your life. And for days, sometimes weeks, you feel worse than when you did when you were a wild child. You're hacking up all this nasty crap, ridding your body of toxins, shaking, sweating, puking, wondering why on earth you thought this was a good idea. It's really fun. I feel called out. I know when I read that part, April, I was like, this is gonna hit April hard. But think about that too. Like, I mean, I've quit. Yes, I still smoke now, but I've quit smoking before. And sometimes it's been, difficult. But I've seen people go through withdrawals. It's kind of scary sometimes, but that's what it feels like. Like, you're like, I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden you feel it. Think about it even when you're like, oh, I'm going to start working out or I'm going to start taking better care of myself. You do. You feel like crap because you're not used to moving. You're sweating out toxins. That feels gross. Like, and you get flu-like symptoms. And I mean, it's not just with drugs and smoking and alcohol. Like, it's literally the food we eat and, moving and getting all that stuff moving and, cleared out of our system. We feel like crap. Good morning, Lindsay. All right. Same goes for when we rid ourselves of limiting subconscious beliefs that have been holding us back and take a giant leap outside our comfort zone. It's a detox of such staggering proportions that sometimes it feels like the universe is conspiring against us. Trees fall on our cars, our computers crash, we find our significant others in bed with our best friends, we get our identities stolen, we get the flu, our roofs cave in, we sit in gum, when in reality, the big snooze is creating chaos in an attempt to self-sabotage and keep everything as it is instead of moving forward into the unknown, yet desperately wanted new territory. Every successful person knows this and has been through this. When taking great leaps forward, life often turns into shit before it turns to shinola. I talk about this with my friends, April and Lindsay. We have our private chats and a couple of other girls. Every time. It never fucking fails. Every time I'm like, all right, guys, consistency. I'm getting a schedule. I'm moving into this. Like I'm gonna be online every night at 6 p.m. I'm gonna be on every morning. Like I just started doing the morning lives, obviously, but I'm doing this. I'm putting consistency. Every time I have something thrown in my face, something that knocks me off, even just for a little bit. It happens. But what's important is I keep moving forward. I get back up. Yeah, I might have to take a day. I might have to, but there's always things that try to keep me from progressing. And that's what it is. Because my old self, in situations and people don't want to see me move forward. It's not because they don't believe in me. It's scary. It's scary. Like, I believe in me. I believe in myself. I know I'm capable of doing so much, right? I know what I'm here to do. But at the same time, like, that's a tornado siren? Oh no, that's a dog. That's a dog howling with the siren. Sorry, guys. I thought our tornado siren was going off. Apparently, a dog's just howling at our fire siren. Alright. I realize this might seem a bit far-fetched, but remember, you create your reality. And you've spent a lifetime creating the one you presently have, largely based on your limiting beliefs. When you decide to rewire those beliefs, go for what's truly in your heart, and do a massive overhaul on yourself and your world, you're basically murdering the big snooze. You're killing that old man. That's what I say. The old man has to die, right? That old man's dying. Your old self is dying. Funny you say that. Thought about the pink sky, right? I know. I mean, I'm in Pennsylvania, but, like, you just never know. Around here, especially. I'm sure it's probably an ambulance run, but I was looking at the sky. I'm like, everything looks good, but just the way the dog was howling, it's confirmation sirens, yes. You're in Pennsylvania too? I'm in northwestern Pennsylvania. I'm up towards like the Lake Erie area. Andre, are you really in Pennsylvania? Why was I thinking you were like somewhere else? You're in the middle. I don't know. I was thinking you were somewhere else. I don't even know where I was thinking. I thought you were like in Arizona for some reason. I don't know why. I'm in the sticks. You're in central. Indigo's in middle. You're in central. Are you in the 814? I know Central PA can still have 814. Are you in the 814? 814 represent. No, I'm just playing. I can't afford Arizona. Yes, you can. Stop limiting yourself. You can. You can. I love Arizona, by the way. I'm in the 570-717. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, in the 814. You're in the 484-610. So you're like over by Jersey. Right? Because Jersey's 610. Oh, you said Central, though. I don't know. Y'all are on the other side of the state. I grew up in Pittsburgh. But I live 2 hours north of Pittsburgh now. I'm almost to the New York border by Jamestown, New York. Alright. Alright, so we were saying you're basically murdering the old man. You're murdering that old self. Alright? And she is going to come at you, rolling pin, raised high over her head, to beat you back into your old life. We are very powerful creatures who create our realities through focused energy. And should our subconscious minds decide to focus that energy at stopping ourselves from taking a risk because it's freaking out and terrified, things can get a little crazy around here. Exactly between Allentown and Harrisburg. Nice. Okay. Alright, I got you. The big snooze will do everything it can to stop you from changing and growing, especially since you're attempting to obliterate the very identity that you and everyone else has come to know as you. Never underestimate the power of the big snooze scorned. You talk about a woman scorned? That old woman scorned. Watch out. Sometimes the big snooze sets up emotional blocks to try and stop us. Other times she gets physical. I have a client who decided to quit his ho-hum yet high-paying job to start his dream company from scratch. This is a good story. He had no idea where to start, what he wanted to do, or how he was going to pull it off. And regardless of the fact that he had a family that was counting on him, no guarantees and even fewer leads, he quit his secure job and went for it because he was determined to create a life he loved. I get this question all the time. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? He didn't know either. He just knew he didn't want to do his 9 to 5 anymore. He needed to create a life he wanted, that he loved. That's when the BS hit the fan. He got not one, but 2 flat tires after leaving a coaching session with me. His babysitter ran into his wife's car while driving his car. The water main under his kitchen exploded. And right before his first big deal went through, he got hit by a freaking bus. What? I'm pleased to report he's fine. But even with all of those extremely convincing excuses to say, okay, fine, screw it, you win, he never gave up. Today he's finding himself being his own boss, doing what he loves, traveling the world, negotiating multi-million-dollar deals, making a huge difference in his clients' lives, being creative, and setting an excellent example for his kids about living life on purpose. Another story. A record producer I worked with decided to build her own recording studio. She put all her money and effort into buying all the recording equipment, instruments, amps, soundproofing, etc., only to have the entire thing burned to the ground almost immediately after it was completed. Instead of closing the shades, M&M's on, getting into bed and sucking her thumb for the next 2 years, she raised the money she needed to rebuild an even better studio and is now rocking so hard that she gets to handpick the musicians she works with and basically live out her fantasy life. So if you finally decide to quit your soul-crushing job and start the pastry shop of your dreams, be not upset if a truck drives through your front window into your scones. Instead of taking this as a sign that you shouldn't have opened your shop, take it to mean that you're ridding yourself of your BS and moving in the right direction. Growth ain't for weenies, but it's nowhere near as painful as living the life you're living right now if you're not really going for it. If you want to take control of your life and turn it into something spectacularly you, as have the people I described above, stop at nothing. Have faith. Trust that your new life is already here and is far better than the old. Hang tight if the big snooze pitches a fit. Whatever happens, stay the course, because there's nothing cooler than watching your entire reality shift into one that is perfect expression of you. So that is the big snooze. The next chapter is really short, so I think we're at 9 o'clock. I think I'm going to go into that as well. So yeah. So like I was saying, when we make the decision to do what's right for us, right? To do something that we feel called to do, we're going to experience so much chaos, right? And self-sabotage is ultimately what it comes down to. Because those fears, that ego, is coming forward and we're thinking all of the possibilities, excuse me, of what could go wrong, even though we're pushing forward, we're still manifesting some of that stuff too, right? But that's what's going to help push us, because if we can get past that, if we can really push through that, you're going to see big changes on the horizon. You're welcome. I love doing this. I actually enjoy this more than my evening stream. I love tarot reading and I love doing the yes no questions, but I enjoy this so much more. This is more of my calling, helping people see their potential, helping people shift out of the ego and into their true highest self. This is what I like to do. It just sometimes it's just hearing it from a writer's perspective. I'm being living that. Have my plan started, and boom, it's been one thing after another. Yep. I mean, yeah, you even asked me, am I still going in December? Yes, you're going. I don't care what happens. You're still going. You're still going to make it. These are just flags and, little bombs being thrown in your way to see if you really want this. All right. So the next chapter, it's really seriously short. It's 3 pages. Self-perception is a zoo. It starts off with, I'm okay. I'm not okay. It says, I have a friend who's a professional speaker. She's the kind of person who is so articulate, so powerful and bright and naturally captivating that she could be standing at the counter ordering a burrito and I'd get all teary-eyed. That's right, no refried beans. You heard the woman. So imagine my surprise when after one of her talks, she plunked herself down next to me and demanded to know how boring it was. I also have gorgeous friends who think they're hideous looking. Brilliant clients who one moment think they're God's gift to mankind and the next need to be talked off the ledge of self-proclaimed ineptitude. And an entrepreneur neighbor who can't decide if she's a financial powerhouse or if she's about to cause her family to start living underneath a bridge. Self-perception is a zoo. Yeah, BS is a beast. Yep. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You can manifest and it happen almost instantly, right? Because you're aware. But there's still going to be things that you're like, where did that come from? Right? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it came from, why it happened, right? We just need to keep moving, right? We're in that zone, we're in that state, we're in that I'm successful, right? I'm making my dreams come true. So, yeah. Yep. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Right? At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why it happened. We just know it happened. All right, so now we move forward. How do I move forward? Right? I'm focused on my goal. I'm focused on my end. Right? What implies that I have what I want. All right, take a moment, take a breather. What do I need to do? And then you do it. All right. We spend our lives drifting between glimpses of our own infinite glory and the fear that not only are we totally incapable, unworthy, lazy, horrible, but that it's only a matter of time before someone blows the whistle on us. We torture ourselves incessantly, and for what purpose? If we can glimpse the glory, and I know you can, why do we waste our precious time giving any energy to the other options? Wouldn't life be so much more fun, productive, and sexy if we fully embrace our magnificently delightful selves? It's just as easy to believe we're awesome as it is to believe we're giant sucking things. And I cannot hit that hard enough, right? We torture ourselves. That imposter syndrome. We're worried that someone's going to be like, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, right? We're so worried about that. Okay, yeah, I'm sure there's things I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm here. What are you doing? Because you know what? Successful people are not about bringing down other successful people. Okay? You might not know as much as them, but you know what? A successful person knows when someone's trying, and they know when somebody's trying to push forward. They're not going to try and pull you down. It's the people that aren't taking the risk. It's the people that aren't doing the things. It is the people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they just want to call other people out. It's a reflection of them. A successful person is going to be like, hey, you did amazing. I know that was scary. I've been there. Like, and yeah, you stumbled. So what? Next time it'll be easier. They're not going to be like, oh, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. People who bring other people down, they do that because they're beneath you. Okay? And I'm not saying that in a rude way. It's because they fear that you are moving up. You are moving away from them. Right? They're the imposters. You are not. So don't let the imposter syndrome come in and tell you you're not good enough or tell you that you're a fraud. You're not. You're not. The people who want to call you out or whistleblow you, they're the ones that are the frauds. They're the ones that are too scared to take a leap on themselves. Right? Yeah. Takes the same amount of energy, the same amount of focus. So why do we choose all the drama? Have you ever noticed how when someone you admire goes out and does something phenomenal, you're happy for her or him, but you're not surprised? Of course they did something phenomenal. They're a phenomenal person. But to get yourself to see how amazing you are is like pushing a giant marshmallow up a hill. Yes, there we go. We're up. We're awesome. Oop, we're sagging. We're sagging on the left. Push it up. There we go. We're all good. Wait, now we're sagging on the right. We run around taking one step forward and 14 steps back. And when it's so unnecessary. Instead, try seeing yourself through the eyes of someone who admires you. They get it. They believe in you leaps and bounds. They aren't connected to your insecurities and negative beliefs about yourself. All they see is your true glory and potential. Become one of your own diehard fans. Look at yourself from the outside, where all your self-doubts can crawl all over you, and behold what shines through. You get to choose how you perceive your reality. So why, when it comes to perceiving yourself, would you choose to see anything other than a super huge rock star of a creature? You are a badass. This perspective works wonders. It really does. And I'll get to that in a minute. I'm just going to finish this. But I use that technique for manifesting for myself. I see myself as a third person. And I say, oh, Marci is going to do this. Marci's going to, I'm so happy that Marci is succeeding. Because sometimes I have to do that. Because I have a hard time believing in myself. Good morning, Morgan. You are a badass. You were one that came screaming onto this planet, and you are one now. The universe wouldn't have bothered with you otherwise. You can't screw up so majorly that your badassery disappears. It is who you are. It's who you always will be. It's not up for negotiation. You are loved massively, ferociously, unconditionally. The universe is totally freaking out about how awesome you are. It's got you wrapped up in a warm gorilla hug of adoration. It wants to give you everything you desire. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to see what it sees in you. You are perfect. To think anything less is as pointless as a river thinking that it gets too many curves, or that it moves too slowly, or that its rapids are too rapid. Says who? You're on a journey with no defined beginning, middle, or end. There are no wrong twists and turns. There is just being. And your job is to be as you can be. As you can be. This is why you're here. To shy away from who you truly are would leave the world you-less. You are the only you there is and ever will be. I repeat, you are the only you there is and ever will be. Do not deny the world its one and only chance to bask in your brilliance. We are all perfect in our own magnificent, fucked up ways. Laugh at yourself, love yourself and others. Rejoice in the cosmic ridiculousness. So, as I was saying, it is so important especially when you get into the fear of, you know, sorry, someone was trying to call me. Um, Especially when you get in fear or we're afraid that we're not doing what we need to do, right? Or, we freeze, right? It's important to kind of zoom out and see yourself succeeding and manifesting. How would it feel to see Marci feel confident, right? She's doing amazing, right? She's incredible, right? Do that with yourself, right? And then zoom back in. All right? So, especially when you're in that when you're trying to manifest and you're in a scene, right? You just can't quite grasp it, right? You're like, okay, I want to feel this. I want to feel as if I am successful. I want to feel, I want to have that feeling of accomplishment, right? But you just can't hear it. You can't feel it. You can't see it. Zoom out and see the scene from a third person point of view. See the whole picture. Okay? See it from that perspective, right? And look at yourself as a different person, as a third person, and see it and say, "Oh wow, Marci, right? Or Morgan or Laura, right? Whomever you are." um, you know, because if you can manifest for others, you can manifest for yourself. Absolutely. If you can see somebody else doing something good with their lives and you nailed it with how you would feel seeing them being more successful in whatever situation, you can do the same thing for yourself. You can feel for that person, right? You can manifest for that person, your person, you, and then zoom in and feel into that. Then you start feeling that. You feel that then. Because we get so thrown off because we're especially people who are healers, right? Or moms, right? People pleasers. I have one. Yeah. Um, you know, people who put others before them. It's so hard to put yourself there. It is. So, it's important to you can do it from the third person point of view, but make sure you zoom back in and you can then start seeing it from your perspective. Does that make sense? Does that what I'm talking about when we're manifesting for ourselves, but kind of zooming out and seeing it from a third person perspective? I know I always tell people that it's important to manifest from a first person perspective, but when it becomes a struggle, sometimes it helps to kind of look at the big picture and look at yourself as a third person and manifest for that. Because I know, and I don't know, I know I talk about this. I've written a book about manifesting for others. It was so easy for me to manifest for other people, right? It, but when it came to me and manifesting for myself, I struggled. So that's how I had to do it, especially at first.
Baby, get to work.
What?
Get to work.
I only do so much, Justin.
I know. That's struggle too.
Yeah, stepping outside does help. Absolutely. TikTok, do not go. Oh.
What?
TikTok's being crazy with their freaking connection again.
What?
You have. I keep going red. It just started now, but that's how it was last night. I kept going red. It was like every 2 minutes. And no, it wasn't people screaming. I mean, it could have been, but it's more than that. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Alex. You have a hard time doing what specifically, Kim? But this is the book, Kim, that we were talking about. You Are a Badass. You can go to your local library and probably borrow it there, or you can purchase it. I buy most of my books off Thrift Books, Manifestations, for you. So that's where it helps if you focus, like I was saying, like if you can manifest for other people, you can manifest for yourself easily, but you have it still has to be about you. Yeah, audiobook's good too. Um you have to make it about you, right? So in my book I talk about how I manifested for a friend of mine to be successful. They were addicted to crack cocaine, and they had a good job, but their life was in shambles. And so when I had seen this person, I seen them thriving. I seen them as a homeowner, right? And they had to cross bridges of incidences to get to that point. They ended up getting drug tested at work. They ended up having to go to rehab. The moment they got out of rehab, hey, Fancy Nancy, how are you, baby? Haven't seen you in a while. And so once they went to rehab and they came out of rehab, within months, they bought their first house. They were clean off drugs. They had the house that they've always wanted, right? And they were thriving at that point. Was it a struggle? Yeah, right? There were things that caused them, but that there were struggles they had to go through, right? But this happened within a year. Within a year, they went from completely addicted to crack cocaine to having a home of their own. Okay, if you can manifest for others. And what that did is I imagined seeing them that way, and it made me feel good. It made me feel proud of them to see them thriving. I didn't feel sorry for them for being addicted to crack cocaine. I didn't. I wasn't feeling into that anymore. I was feeling proud of them for, making the changes that was necessary, right? To having a home of their own, seeing them proud of themselves. Okay? So with that, it's the same thing. You can then take that same process and place it on you, right? But we have to kind of zoom out, and then we have to slide back in and feel the scene within ourselves again. Okay? You can see the scene and you can manifest for yourself, right? And then move back in and see it from the first person perspective. I have no money. Does anybody have any questions? What else? I saw somebody else. Yeah, I like listening to audiobooks too at times. Especially if you drive for a long period of time. Um, like around here, you could easily drive for 20-30 minutes, and it's good to just have play. The name of my book, I need to put that on my link tree. It's called The Magic Blanket. But you kind of have to look it up by my name. Because when you put in The Magic Blanket, there are children's books. But if you look at it, it's on Amazon. It's like $5, I think. It's a very quick read, but it explains. I'm, I mean, I'm not a professional writer. I just threw it together literally within like a week, maybe not even, and put it up there. So, it's not. It's self-published. It's not the best written, but it gets the point across. You're welcome. Bass Assassin is been changing his picture a lot. And he's out. He's in, he's out. But but yeah, again, like the biggest thing to remember is when things really start to kind of fall to crap, that's because it's not necessarily to show you that you shouldn't be doing this. It's to show you, it's to make you decide, is this what I really want? You have to keep pushing through it. You're welcome. Congratulations. That's awesome. You do have to commit. It's no, like, honestly, how many times have you supported a friend or a loved one when they are taking a chance? And you're like, no, you can do this. You got this. You have this. Like, I know this is tough, but you got this. Keep pushing, keep pushing. Why do we why do we give ourselves the excuse to fall back and stop? You have said it a lot of the same as the book my friend Marcia has too, but reading it gave me the light bulb moment. Yes. Yeah, that happens. It's it different aha moments will come in different ways. Um, it'll be, I could hear the same thing over and over and over again, right? This happened a lot with my mentor. He would tell me these things. He would say, no, like, bring it back to you, make it about you, right? And I'm like, okay, I am. But then somebody else might say something and it hit different. Like, they could have said it the same exact way, the same words, everything. But for some reason, it hit different and I understood it. Good morning, Misty. So that's why you guys hear me say a lot of the same things over and over and over again, because at any moment it could click. And I mean, and even my mentor, he would say it and say it and say it and say it and say it, and then just one day it would click and I'm like, damn, now that makes sense. I get it. My energy is fuck around and find out. This is my journey and I'm doing this. Awesome. Good morning, sweet Rose. How are you? Yeah, exactly. This is our journey. This is your journey. This is my journey. And I have to keep pushing myself. I have to keep moving forward. And I have to keep showing up for myself. Right? Nobody's going to show up for me. It is magical when things click and I love it. Because even this book, I've read it before. But going through it, because it's so funny because I'm trying to look at that. I'm not trying. I am looking at this as if I'm teaching this as like a course, right? I laugh because I'm like, oh, I'm like a professor now, right? Even though I'm not, but I'm looking at it differently on how I can not only just read it, right? But how can I help you understand it, right? So in that sense, I'm looking at it from a different perspective than just reading it, right? I'm implementing it as well. I'm applying it because that's number one. You can read as many books as you want. I've read books cover to cover in a day. Guess what? I never applied them, right? But this, taking it little bit by little bit, I am applying it as I go, right? I'm not just reading it and putting it back on my shelf. I'm applying it. And that's the big thing. I can tell you all the steps, but until you apply them and you try it out for yourself and you figure out what works for you or what doesn't, or how to shift or tweak something, I can tell you all the steps. But until you apply it and try it yourself and be persistent, it's just like reading a book and not applying it. And yeah, you have some more knowledge and you can talk about it, but can you experience it? Can you talk about your experience with it? Exactly. Yeah, I agree, Laura. Thank you. Thank you, Indigo. I enjoy this. Like I said, I look forward to these lives. I love my evening lives. I do. I love helping people. I love doing energy checks. I love seeing the path that you're on at this moment and seeing where it's headed and how you can change it there. But I enjoy these lives because not only am I just telling you, I'm helping you put forth the effort. Eagles. It's so funny. Oh my god, Andre. So I got off the live and I opened up uh an app and it's a sports app and right there it's a 29-17. I was like, damn, I was wrong. But that was the first time anyone's ever asked me a question about it, like a game or whatever. So at least I know, like, that's not going to be something I constantly rely on. Now, if I would have like had a message or a dream or a vision about it, I'd be like, dude, yeah, but I didn't. Andre asked me last night with the rods if the Eagles were going to win, and I told him no. It might be because I was never an Eagles fan. Maybe that was my ego getting into it. But the Eagles do seem to be having a good season this year. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really follow football that much. I don't know. I just laugh because I remember when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and like Philly went crazy and like tore its whole city down. Like, what? Ravens fan here. That's okay. Let them win the season, but not playoffs. Oh no, you're a Ravens fan. Hi, Tanya. How are you? You're a Dirty Birds fan. I'm just teasing. I don't follow football anymore. It's just embedded in me, man. I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. So I'm doing good. Doing good. We just finished up a couple chapters and You Are a Badass and discussing about, pushing forward and, knowing that when we try to shift and do things differently and take a risk and a leap on ourselves, that yes, things are going to get chaotic. Things are going to get messy because our old self is trying to keep us where we are because it's comfortable. So yeah, a lot of things can really change and, get, you know, catastrophes can happen. But it's to really make you push forward to want it. And also looking at yourself the way you look at others. See how phenomenal you are, see how amazing you are. You see other people for that worth, why aren't you seeing yourself for that worth? I'm in Dallas and love the Cowboys, but I'll put a bet on the Eagles. Oh, nice. Oh, you put a bet. Oh, how much did you win? That is very true. It is. It is. And that's the thing I love about our morning lives is learning and applying and really seeing things from a different perspective and putting our faith in ourselves, right? Stop putting our faith in our fear. You're finally done with your morning running. Oh my goodness. I still have to do the video for day 4 of our Grateful Challenge. I have to do that before I get in the shower. So if you guys have been following me at all, again, we've been doing this in the mornings, and I have a Grateful Challenge going to 30 days of questions. It's like journaling, but it's just to make you, you know, again, get into that mindset of what do you have going for you. Um, Appreciating what you do have, appreciating what's right in front of you. Um, because sometimes we get so caught up in that lack mindset that we are staying in that negativity. Whereas when we step into that blessed mindset and we see what we have, we're blessed even more and we can bless others. You've enjoyed the challenge. Good. I'll give you the Cowboys 90s to 2002, but these Cowboys, they aren't all right. Oh, man. My football knowledge probably stopped about 2013, to be honest with you, right around there. I wasn't so diehard that, it really affected my life, but I've seen it happen with so many people. One of my best friends, if the Steelers lost, you better not have called her that night. She had her phone turned off because she was so pissed off, right? And I was just like, I can't control what the Steelers do. I can't control what team I like, how whether they win or lose. Why am I letting this affect my life? And like honestly, I haven't really watched TV in so many years. Like I'll turn on Netflix and I'll watch, a movie or I'll watch this or that every once in a while, but I cannot even tell you the last time I watched TV. I'm a Texan fan by default. Well, yeah, you're right, in Houston. Oh my goodness. You can always root for Dallas. Melissa, I don't do the free yes nos in the morning. I do those in the evening, honey. This morning, the morning lives are about changing your perspective, uh, you know, seeing your power. Good morning, Elle. How are you? Yep, my Fire TV is more a huge screensaver of picture and landscapes. Yes. Yes. Like right now, Roku is scrolling across my scene, across my TV, just because my son was watching Hulu last night. I'm doing good. About to hop off here shortly. I have to get in the shower and get ready for my day. Go babysit the tiny terrorist. It's a joke. She's really a sweetheart. She's been in rare form this week though. My little niece. I've been on the past this week and last week I started coming on in the mornings. We this week we started reading and discussing You Are a Badass. So last week I was taking manifesting questions and all of that. So this is just kind of to give the information on how to pull in your power. She's 2. She's 2. She's so cute, but she has been pushing boundaries this week. She is a future reader in the making. Every time I go there, and I haven't really been playing with my cards that much, but she's very attached to her mom, and even though her mom is right there working, being in the room with me would always upset her. So I would go there and I would pull out my cards and we would play with my tarot cards and we would do, just little readings for a couple people in a group I'm in. And so anytime she would see me, she would be like, Marci, cards? And so we would pull out the cards and we would do that. So, but I haven't really been playing with my cards while I'm over there just because I've been working on this. And, um, I try to read while I'm there, or take notes or figure out things to kind of discuss. But, yeah, she's been pushing boundaries this week. It's funny. She's gonna be a CEO one day. Yeah, I come on. Yeah, and she's all over everything. She's a climber. She's very much like my son was at that age, but he was a boy and that was expected. You know what I mean? But I'm used to it. I'm used to the way. Um, it doesn't bother me where a lot of people are like, that's just too much. It's not. She's actually really good. She's very good. But she's gonna make some huge waves. But I come on in the mornings anywhere between like right around 8 a.m. Eastern time is when I'm on to usually about now 10 o'clock at the latest. Um, Depending on how long the chapters are and how if who's all in here. Yesterday I had two people. So I was only on for like maybe an hour yesterday. She is the princess of oracles. She is too. She is. She pulls the right oracle cards for sure. So she's so cute. She's got blonde curls and blue eyes, and yeah, she's a little angel baby, but she knows what she wants. She doesn't care if it's dangerous. She knows what she wants. So that's where it is. Like she was literally trying to run down her slide yesterday. She did not like it when I pulled her off of it. Oh, the joys of being the aunt that has to keep you safe. She is a little rebel. Wonder where she gets that from. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree, Elle. Absolutely. She's a COVID baby, so they hit different. They really do. They're so different than. But like I said, to me, that's how my son was, and it. But she is, you know, for a quote unquote a girl, she is definitely different. She's so smart for two. Like I have to remind myself that she's still two because of the things that she talks about, and the way she speaks, and um, I have to remind myself that she's only two. She's very smart, very enlightened. So don't forget, guys. I want to stress this more and more each day. Make sure you're manifesting for your day. Make sure you're manifesting for different events throughout your day to go your way. Okay, so make sure you're manifesting a delicious lunch, a delicious dinner, cuddles on the couch with your little ones or your love. Are her parents older? My sister in law is younger than me, but she's, how old is Jenna? 37? Yeah, Jenna's 37. I will tell her you said good morning. I definitely will. So Jenna was, what, 35 when she had her. But Jenna has three other girls too. So it's not her first rodeo. Girl, I manifest breakfast this morning. Trevor had it on the counter with a sweet note. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, think about the things you want, not how they can't happen, right? Because we want, good things to happen throughout our day, but then we're like, oh, but what if this happens? Don't go there. What implies that you got what you want? That's not old, but sounds like your niece may have, and also she does. She really does. She definitely does. She definitely does. She and my sister have, I've pulled at least two lives that they have spent together. I had Lily at 35 and she is different. Old soul, yes. I had Trent when I was 32, so like literally just turned 32. Um, and he's an old soul. So, but so is Lexus, and I had her at 25. Yeah, right before I turned 26. And yeah, both my kids really. Trent is, I don't even know how to explain him. I mean, you guys know it's there. He's just very open. He's more spiritual than Lexus in that sense. But I wasn't aware when I was, when Lexus was growing up. She very much. The one thing about Lexus I laugh about, when she was little, when she was 3, we were, flipping through channels. She would always want me to stop on the religious channel, always. And she had an obsession with Barack Obama. Anytime that man was on TV, she would stop and she would listen. Titus is an old soul. I had him at 25 or 26. Yeah. Oops. My nephew is definitely an old soul and a lefty. So smart. Oh, yeah, those lefties, man. Lexus was ambidextrous when she was younger. It's my soul daughter, for real, for real. Yes. Yes. You'll see the lecture stuff at the bottom of the screen. Yes. I can't. Dude, I have gotten so much stuff in my mail about these elections. Like, I don't remember ever getting so much stuff. Like, I get handwritten notes. Make sure you vote on Tuesday. I vote every year. But what's funny, the funny thing is they write it in my maiden name, not my married name. Now, granted, I changed my name. I've been married. Stupid spam calls. I've been married for, it'd be almost 12 years. But I just changed my name maybe almost 5 years ago. So I still get mail for my voting in my maiden name. You get texts about the election. I just jumped. We were talking last week. We think Titus is the same. He does the slingshot left-handed and hooks his hand when riding. My sons are awake, but I had closed myself and now I'm guiding. Yes. Did my ring scare you? Did it ring through? But I can tell Lexus's weight is opening up. But yeah. I'm sure there's more there, but I wasn't aware. But she's always been so smart. Always. Um and I don't I've I'm I know she's my daughter and I'm not being biased. I have not seen a soul like her. I have been around a lot of kids in my life. I've been babysitting since I was 6 years old, right? I've been an aunt since I was 5. Um, and I have raised many kids. She was different from, and Trent was different from the get-go, but they were difference. Um, she has always, she has always been, like, yes, she's had her moments, she's had her tantrums, all of that when she was younger. But she has always been, like, the most, um, what is the word I want? I don't know. She has the biggest heart, and she's very empathetic. Um, but at the same time, she's protective of herself. But she just, I don't know. It's so hard. Like, I know she's one of my soulmates. She and I have lived many lives together as well. Um, she's my ride or die for sure. Passive and kind, yeah. In my 20s, I live for others and close that part of myself off. Yeah, girl, I feel that. Like, up until about 5 years ago, everything, I lived for everybody else. When I had Lily, my mind and heart space was opening and thinking differently. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, I don't know. There's so much with this newer generation too. Um, it's, I think with us being open and being more spiritual, it's given them more of a chance, right? Where we grew up with parents who didn't want to see us, right? They're like, get outside, go play. Now, granted, I feel this generation hasn't experienced what we experience in that sense of, being outside, doing all the things, um, in that sense. But I also feel like this generation is not being pushed to do something they don't want to do. Like how many times did we hear you need to go to college, you need to get a degree, you need to do this? Like that's the only way you're going to be successful, right? I tell my daughter all the time, I'm like, do what you want to do. I don't care if it is go to college. I don't care if it's to go to trade school. I don't care if it's just to go out in the workforce at first before you, take a leap on college or a trade school. Like, but like for me, I was always told you need to go to college, you need to do this. But my parents were like, but you have to figure it out. Have fun. Like we're not paying for anything because we have no idea, right? My parents didn't know about funding or I probably could have went to college for free because we had like zero money growing up. But like I didn't know any of that and our school didn't help us and my parents were like, I don't know how we're going to afford to let you go to college. Like, we're not going to be able to afford it. And there's so much out there that we didn't know about. But, to them, it was just like, you figure it out. You figure out, you do it. They don't have to hide or close it off. It's a safe space. Yes. Yeah, they don't have to hide who they truly are. They can be who they are. All right, guys. I'm going to hop off and go hop in the shower and get ready for my day. The plan is to be on tonight by 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'll be back with tarot readings and yes, no's and all that fun stuff. I hope you guys have an amazing Friday. Enjoy the day. Manifest for something great to happen. Be pleasantly surprised throughout the day if you need to. Like, you don't even have to manifest specifically. Go general. Have that feeling of being surprised. Pleasantly surprised. Um, but enjoy your day. I love you guys. Have a great day.